And we are back. This is Coach Big Pete of Deep Dish Football finishing up the Big Ten. This is the last video of my preview of the state of Illinois' pipeline through these Big Ten schools. Right now, I'm going to go over Penn State and the University. I'm sorry, and Nebraska. Uh, both highly traditional schools with a lot of great tradition. Uh, you got the old fashioned from Nebraska. You got the old fashioned Osborne pipeline, which is a little bit dusted over in the state of Illinois. Not that many players. Only I think 3 players that are playing currently in Nebraska right now from the state of Illinois. Um, I know Westerkamp just graduated from Montini. Penn State, I think it's like two if I'm mistaken. They just got the commitment from one of the best offensive tackles in the state of Illinois, Bryce Eifner, to go to Penn State. Um, Again, 2 schools in areas with coaching staffs that, how do you say, don't need to really heavily recruit the state of Illinois. If you got Penn State, who's got pipelines through Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, especially that Western Pennsylvania territory, it's just abundance of richness and talent for football players. In Nebraska, you have who's the new head coach is Mike Riley. Who I'm not the new head coach, but is I think it's 2 or 3 years now. Mike Riley, who is the head coach of Nebraska, who um, in his days of Oregon State has a nice little pipeline set up in the West Coast area of California and a couple few other states that looks great for him. So why would you really want to spend any time or money in the state of Illinois? And it's not to say Illinois' got good talent. Illinois does have good talent, but put your resources where they are going to make the most sense, where you can get the most out of the bang out of your buck. And Penn State still has a good. Penn State and Nebraska still have a great tradition of recruiting in the state of Illinois. Nebraska, especially under the Osborne days and Solwich days, did great in the state of Illinois. And in the paternal days of Penn State, did pretty good in the state of Illinois. But uh, it's a lot smarter to go where the goal is at, because Illinois is basically a basketball school, like I said before. But uh, as I talk to coaches, and I've talked about Nebraska, they have no problems with Nebraska. They've spoken highly of Nebraska. They've spoken highly of Mike Riley and the coaching staff, especially Coach Booker on Nebraska. They've talked highly about. Um, I don't think there's been any bad blood between Nebraska or the Illinois area, especially the Chicagoland area. They've recruited great in the Chicagoland area, like I said. You had Westerkamp, and then before that you had former alumni. You got Nate Turner from Mount Carmel. You had keep forgetting a bunch of other players too. But Nebraska's done good, and especially back in the Osborne days, he got a good group of running backs from Chicago. Now, um, like I said, Riley, the head coach of Nebraska, uh, he'll like Nebraska will probably recruit maybe 1 or 2 players out of the state of Illinois that really thinks they matter to his type of offense. And Mike Riley, being known as the good guy in college football, um, is a highly attractive head coach to parents and kids because he's a good guy. Simple as that. So no surprise with that in the University of Nebraska. Now Penn State, we got Coach Franklin, a straight shooter, former Vanderbilt coach, high grades guy. He took over after O'Brien left. And O'Brien took over after the whole from the intern coach who took over after the whole Paterno scandal. Now, Franklin is looking for good character guys. He cannot afford a bad character guy or any bad situation because of the Paterno scandal. Not Paterno scandal, Penn State scandal, Sandusky scandal. If that happens, he's out of a job because literally that football program is on pins and needles just walking around, and um, it's sad to see that that school with that type of tradition. So, but You have Coach, what's his name, Limgover, if I'm mistaken, sir, I apologize, who coached with Jerry Kill at NIU, has coached with Jerry Kill at NIU, SIU, and then Porter State, who has a strong tradition in the state of Illinois. Um, uh, Good coach, uh, offensive line coach. Again, the smart move of I'm going to go where I can get the good players. In Illinois, it's defensive line, offensive line, and tight ends. You're not going to waste any time going after, say, a quarterback when you can go straight to Western Pennsylvania and start mining quarterbacks like it's nobody's business. So, or you can go to Florida, you can go to Ohio. It's a smart move by Penn State. And as I talk to coaches about Penn State, especially the high school coaches, um, they like Coach Franklin. They liked him especially when he was at Vanderbilt. He did a good job of recruiting in Vanderbilt when he was at when he was recruiting in the Illinois section. Very good job. He recruits academics and high character guys. Just back in the old school paternal days. But again, uh, the dark cloud, and which I think is complete BS because it's a new coaching staff in Overfields, is the whole Sandusky scandal, which I think is complete bullshit, personally, because you have a new coaching staff and you shouldn't be basically turning your back to that situation. Um, and just Penn State, they got Bryce Eifner, like I said before. I won't be surprised if next year they go after a couple offensive and defensive linemen too. They got I'm forgetting his name, Jones, Penn State, and there's another guy I'm forgetting that went to Penn State. But it's a good uh, recruiting tradition in Illinois, but they're smart. They don't waste their times, and that's what I'm talking about. Nebraska and Penn State, they don't waste their time. They don't waste their money. They know who to recruit, what they want out of the state of Illinois, and um, they know the tradition of the state of Illinois, where to get the players from too. So that's it. Again, it's Coach Big Pete of deepdishfootball.com. Please follow me at Coach Big Pete and Deep Dish Football on Twitter and Facebook. Please, if you have any questions, please email me at coachbigpetefp@gmail.com. And if you like what I had to say, go to deepdishfootball.com. On the right panel, you can leave a donation or a tip. Thank you so much, and enjoy your day.